Hi everybody, this is Alyssa Matson, and today I'm here to talk about some next generation science standards. The first one that we're going to talk about is 1-LS3-1, Heredity, Inheritance, and Variation Traits. So for this science standard, the essential question is going to be this question that we're asking our students. We want to get them to start thinking about what similarities do you see in young plants and what similarities do you see in young animals and to their parents, right? So we want to compare young animals to their parents, and we want them to make observations to see how they're similar in their traits and also how are they different. The phenomena is going to be like this big question that we're asking our students, and it's why do you share physical similarities with your family members? That'll really get them thinking, and it'll also bring the topic more inward so they can start making connections to their the real life as well, which is so important. The performance expectation is 1-LS3-1. Make observations to construct an evidence-based account that young plants and animals are alike, not exactly like their parents. So you want students to understand that yes, young plants and animals and humans are much like their parents, but they're not exactly alike. The learning target. Students will be able to make these observations and find evidence for these observations in the natural phenomena. We also want them to observe and notice how young plants and animals are similar but not exactly alike. So prior knowledge. Students will share about specific traits in plants and animals that they have observed, perhaps in a lesson beforehand or animals that they have at home. And then students will also be able to share about personal experiences related to this topic. For example, specific traits that they have in common with their own family members. For the ELA connection, we've got a really great book here, Inheritance of Traits. Why is my dog bigger than yours? That's a really awesome book that examines different types of dogs that touches on this topic. For the technology connection, there's an awesome YouTube video that connects this. This is also going to bring universal design to learning in this as well, giving students many different options on how to learn. This will really help visual learners as well as auditory learners. And then there's a PBS and a YouTube video. Both of those are phenomenal videos to choose from. The math connection, so they're going to be comparing and contrasting apples, two different types of apples, like a red apple and a yellow apple and a green apple. And they can make measurements of that and take notes of its color, of its shape, of its smell, of things like that, right? Inherited traits. Smell is not an inherited trait. Activities. Students will engage in a discussion about traits in plants and animals that they have seen. To make the English language arts connection like we just talked about, the teacher is going to read a story about traits in different types of dogs called Inheritance of Traits, where students will listen and be asked questions throughout the story to deepen their understanding. To provide multiple means of representation, students will then watch a video about different traits in animals to further their understanding of this concept. This is then followed by a math activity where students will compare different types of animals and compare and look at the different patterns that they see. To check for understanding, the teacher is going to ask an exit ticket at the end. For example, why do you share traits with your family members? For engagement, this brings in TPT number 8, move away from right and wrong answers. The teacher will ask students questions that support student engagement and build confidence by including open-ended questions and supporting their development with follow-up questions that engage in higher order of thinking. Those open-ended questions are so important. All right, thanks very much.